Well, it is said that when attorney Lindy Korn talks, people listen. Lindy Korn has 23 years of legal experience. Her firm specializes in sexual harassment cases and protecting people's rights. The law firm of Lindy Korn, and we've got Lindy here this morning to talk about things that, in a way, relate to love. You know, they can, but it's nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Because the things that you work on and work with are very interesting, and we're going to start off this morning with something that was new to me. It might be new to you. When we talk about being in the workplace, love contracts.
Well, people are spending more and more time at work, and I recently read a study that said 60% of people that go to work are either meet their partner at work or have affairs, relationships, the gamut, because they're spending so much time. So it's taking the place of going to a bar or going out. I mean, because the hours are so long, and you share all the excitement or stresses, and so there's a lot of commingling of work and romance.
Okay, so how does this love contract, what is this all about?
One of the problems is that law firms were finding out from the employer side as well as the plaintiff side is that you have this relationship, people know about it, it's great when it's good, but when it goes sour, usually there's a claim of sexual harassment, which is the work that I do, representing the plaintiff only. However, when you have, for instance, a high-paid executive, somebody thinking creatively on the employer side said, how can we manage this risk? So it started on the West Coast, and it's called a love contract, and what happens, it's like a prenuptial to an affair or to a relationship. And so the person, let's just say it's a CEO, and for just example for today, we can say it's a male, could be a female. Sure. And then the person who is going to engage in the relationship, whatever that person is, they sit around a table and they sign an agreement which said that this relationship is going on, we're putting you on notice, and it's consensual, and if it goes sour, we will solve it through mediation or conciliation, but we won't go to the courts.
How interesting.
Now, it has been used usually only for very high-level corporate persons, and the whole idea.
Money is at risk here.
And reputation. It's not a perfect solution, and it has lots of risks in signing such a document, and it doesn't prevent really a sexual harassment case. However, it does keep it outside the court and within some other dispute resolution process. There's also another attempt called date and tell. Sounds like we're going back to kindergarten, but actually it came out of another case and out of New Jersey, and in that case there were people who reported to one another who were in a relationship, and so that the subordinate was involved with the supervisor, and that's a subjective relationship, and the supervisor would be doing performance reviews, etc. And so what they said was, we can't have this. And other people, of course, knew it. And there's sexual favoritism and all kinds of issues that arise. So what they did was, they said, if you're in this relationship, you have to tell Human Resources or a hotline or somebody, and we have to transfer you, because you cannot be in a chain of command with somebody that you're romantically involved with.
Now, have either the love contract or date and tell been litigated? I mean, does it hold up in court? Actually,
the whole thing is that it
doesn't get to court.
Correct. Yeah. So, however, that's a very interesting question, because if somebody signed a document like this, and there was litigation perhaps on another issue, perhaps through discovery someone might ask for it, and then whether or not that would be produced would be an issue.
Wow. Lindy, you have some really fascinating you have a fascinating slice of the law that your firm concentrates on. And you were telling me just before the show started something about a hug club. Now that's a perfect example of things that can go wrong in a company.
Well, there were persons who had a hug club at work, and so somebody was the president of the hug club. And of course, context is everything, especially in my area of law of discrimination. And so the thing is it a hug or is it a hug? And I think that people who are being hugged know the difference. And so there was this obligatory hug club, but the problem was some people didn't want to be part of it. There may have been persons of different sexual orientation who were excluded from it. And what seemed like a really fun idea could turn into a discrimination lawsuit.
So the company decided to tell these people to abandon this, basically?
Actually, I was not in, it didn't get that far. However, what I'm saying to you is there are lots of things that happen as a joke in the workplace, and it's not what you think, you the actor, it's how it's being perceived that matters.
Wow.
And so the other thing is social media around these issues. People are taping people. People are taking pictures of people kissing at the water fountain. If you think you're not being watched or noticed, if somebody spends an inordinate amount of time every day in someone's office with a closed door, these are signals that other people are picking up.
Oh, interesting. Well, even, you know, the infamous Christmas party, you know, that is usually just for staff, you know, and not spouses. I mean, there's a lot of, and you're right, anytime you have a group of people together and there are people who are spending a lot of time with other people, this is not a secret.
No.
You know?
And you know, what's happened actually is a lot of employers are not having the Christmas parties or the holiday parties that they once did. Whether it's, you know, certainly alcohol is dealt with differently, but sex is a part of it.
Lindy, if you have to come back, this is fascinating. And if you find that you need the services, by all means, the law office of Lindy Korn, she's right on Washington Street in Buffalo. All you have to do is give her a call. Find out what your rights are. 856-KORN, that's 856-5676, or log on to her website, or rather her email, www.lkorn-law.com.